For 15 years, the AFC West has been ruled by one name: Kansas City. Mahomes, Reed, Kelsey. It has been a dynasty so strong it felt untouchable. But in 2025, a challenger has emerged. A team known not for glory, but for heartbreak. The Los Angeles Chargers, the franchise that invented the word chargering. The team that blows leads, that collapses when it matters most, that wastes stars and breaks fan bases. Yet suddenly, under Jim Harbaugh, with Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey, and a defense anchored by Khalil Mack, the Chargers might be built not just to compete, but to win. This is the story of how the most snake-bitten franchise in football might finally conquer the AFC West. For as long as the Los Angeles Chargers have existed, heartbreak has been their brand. The story starts decades ago. In 2006, the Chargers were the NFL's best team. LaDainian Tomlinson, in his MVP season, rushed for over 1,800 yards and 28 touchdowns. Philip Rivers was young, fiery, and fearless. Antonio Gates was unstoppable. The defense was loaded with Sean Merriman, Quentin Jammer, and Donnie Edwards. They finished 14-2, the league's best record. And then, in the divisional round, they faced the New England Patriots. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions. The Chargers had the game in their hands. But then, the play every Chargers fan remembers: safety. Marlon McCree intercepted Brady, only to fumble the ball away on the return. The Patriots recovered. They scored. And the Chargers' dream season was dead. That game set the tone for decades of pain. In 2010, San Diego had the league's #1 offense and #1 defense by yardage. A statistical juggernaut. Surely this was their year. Instead, they went 9-7 and missed the playoffs entirely, undone by one of the worst special teams units in NFL history. By the mid-2010, the heartbreak became routine. Philip Rivers kept them competitive, but the roster eroded. The team left San Diego, moving to Los Angeles in 2017, alienating one of the NFL's most loyal fan bases. Then came Justin Herbert. Drafted in 2020, Herbert was the savior. A rocket-armed quarterback who looked like the future of the NFL from the moment he stepped in for Tyrod Taylor in Week 2. As a rookie, he threw for 4,336 yards and 31 touchdowns. By 2021, he threw 38 touchdowns and had 5 game-winning drives. But just like Rivers before him, the organization failed him. In 2021, the Chargers faced a win-and-in game in Week 18 against the Raiders. Herbert threw for 383 yards and 3 touchdowns, converting an absurd 6 fourth downs in the fourth quarter. He dragged his team into overtime, only to watch Brandon Staley's timeout decision open the door for the Raiders' game-winning field goal. In 2022, Herbert reached the playoffs for the first time. The Chargers stormed out to a 27-0 lead over Jacksonville in the wild card round. The game was over, until it wasn't. Trevor Lawrence threw 4 second-half touchdowns, and the Jaguars won 31-30. It was one of the worst collapses in NFL history. By 2023, Herbert was hurt. The offensive line was broken. The Chargers slipped into irrelevance. By 2024, it was clear Justin Herbert might be a top 5 quarterback, but the Chargers would never win anything unless the entire culture of the organization changed. And that's when Jim Harbaugh arrived. If you're still watching, you're not just a football fan, you're a believer in stories that defy the odds. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because this Chargers team might just make history. Jim Harbaugh didn't come to Los Angeles to compete, he came to conquer. When the Chargers hired him in 2024, they weren't just getting a coach, they were importing a culture. Everywhere Harbaugh goes, losing stops. At Stanford, he took a Pac-12 doormat and turned them into bullies. With San Francisco, he flipped a 6-win 49ers team into a Super Bowl roster within 2 years. At Michigan, he rebuilt a broken program into a national champion. Now, it's the Chargers' turn. The first thing Harbaugh did was strip the Chargers of their soft label. For years, the Bolts were viewed as finesse, talented, fast, but never physical enough to survive late-season wars. Harbaugh changed that overnight. Training camp became old school. Linemen hit harder, players ran longer. Accountability became non-negotiable. Even Trey Lance actually looks good. He wanted the Chargers to punch first, not collapse later. For a franchise haunted by the word chargering, Harbaugh's blueprint was exactly what they needed. For 5 years, Justin Herbert has lived in Mahomes' shadow. Head-to-head, Herbert is 2-6 against Mahomes. At first glance, that looks like domination. But look deeper. 6 of those 8 games were decided by one score. Herbert has thrown for 17 touchdowns and over 2,200 yards in those matchups. Time and again, he's given the Chargers a chance, only to watch his defense or coaching staff collapse late. Herbert's raw talent is undeniable. At 6 feet 6 inches, with one of the strongest arms in football, he combines pocket poise with mobility. In 2021, he threw for 38 touchdowns and 5,014 yards, numbers that rival Mahomes at his peak. But what makes Herbert dangerous under Harbaugh is balance. For the first time, he doesn't have to do everything. The Chargers' run game is real. The defense is aggressive. The offensive line, even after losing Rashawn Slater, is schemed to protect him. Mahomes may still be the NFL's king, but Herbert finally has a castle of his own. Every quarterback needs a go-to weapon. In 2024, the Chargers found theirs in rookie Ladd McConkey. 72 receptions, 1,081 yards, 8 touchdowns. He led all rookies in yards after the catch per reception, 6.3 yak. But stats don't capture the whole story. On film, McConkey looks like a veteran. His release off the line is among the quickest in the NFL. He manipulates defenders with sharp breaks in his routes, creating separation in under 2 seconds. He's fearless across the middle, extending drives on third down. And in the wild card game against Kansas City, McConkey torched their secondary for 197 yards. It was a breakout that turned heads across the league. With McConkey in the slot and a healthy Mike Williams stretching the field outside, Herbert finally has the versatility he's lacked since Keenan Allen left. For years, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack were the Chargers' 1-2 punch on defense. But with Bosa gone, this is Mack's defense now. At 34 years old, Mack isn't slowing down. In 2024, he recorded 17 sacks and one of the league's best pass rush win rates, 22%. He's more than a pass rusher, he's the emotional anchor. Behind him, the Chargers are betting on youth. Tuli Tuipulotu, entering his second season, showed flashes of dominance as a rookie with 6 sacks and disruptive pressure rates. In the secondary, Derwin James remains one of the NFL's most versatile defenders. Part safety, part linebacker, part enforcer. Asante Samuel Jr. leads a ball-hawking corner group that picked off 13 passes last season. This isn't a defense built on finesse anymore. It's built to take the ball away, hit you in the mouth, and make quarterbacks feel every snap. For the first time in years, the Chargers feel different. No longer a team of wasted talent, they look like a team with purpose, a team with structure, a team with belief. Herbert finally has support. McConkey is emerging as a star. Mack is still elite, with Tuipulotu rising behind him. The offensive line has question marks without Slater, but Harbaugh's system minimizes their weakness. And with Harbaugh's culture shift, the days of charging might finally be over. The AFC West is still one of the NFL's toughest divisions, but heading into 2025, each rival carries cracks, while the Chargers are finally rising. Kansas City Chiefs, still kings, but cracks are showing. The Chiefs remain the gold standard. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league, and Andy Reid is still the most creative play caller. But for the first time since 2018, the armor looks dented. Aging core, Travis Kelce, the heartbeat of the offense, is 36. His 2024 stat line dipped under 1,000 yards for the first time since 2015. He's still dangerous, but no longer unstoppable. Wide receiver turmoil. Rashee Rice faces legal trouble. Sky Moore has already been traded to San Francisco. That leaves a shaky group. Tyquan Thornton, Justin Watson, and rookie speedster additions. It's talent, but not stability. Defensive depth issues. Chris Jones is still elite, but behind him, the defensive line is paper thin. If Jones misses time, Kansas City's run defense collapses. The Chiefs will win games on Mahomes' brilliance, but the days of automatic 13-14 wins may be fading. They are still kings, but kings who look mortal. Denver Broncos, Bo Nix Year 2. The Broncos finally have hope again. Sean Payton is in full control, and rookie QB Bo Nix delivered one of the most efficient rookie seasons in years. 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Completion percent, 67.1. Passer rating, 93.3. Led Denver to their first playoff berth since 2015. Nix thrived in Payton's system, built on rhythm passing and quick reads. He rarely looked rattled, throwing with poise beyond his years. But year 2 is always the test. Defensive coordinators have tape now. Nix will face disguised coverages, exotic blitzes, and far more pressure. Denver's roster has weapons. Courtland Sutton re-signed long-term, Marvin Mims flashed as a vertical threat, and the RB room is deep. On defense, Patrick Surtain II is one of the best corners in football, and edge rusher Nick Bonito, 13.5 sacks in 2024, has emerged as a star. The Broncos are legit, but with a young QB in his sophomore season, their ceiling feels like 10-11 wins. Not yet enough to dethrone Kansas City or a surging Chargers team. Las Vegas Raiders, Carroll, Geno, and a new identity. The Raiders are no longer dysfunctional. Hiring Pete Carroll brought instant credibility, and trading for Geno Smith gave them a stabilizing force at quarterback. The offense looks different. The new focal points are Jacoby Myers, speedy slot weapon Trey Tucker, and most importantly, rookie tight end Brock Bowers. Bowers' rookie year hinted at superstardom. He's already a mismatch nightmare who can line up anywhere on the field. In the backfield, Ashton Genty brings burst, paired with veteran Raheem Mostert for outside speed. On defense, Max Crosby remains the soul of the team. He's one of the NFL's top 5 edge rushers, posting another double-digit sack season while constantly facing double teams. Opposite him, Tyree Wilson is still developing but showed flashes late in 2024. This Raiders team is better coached, tougher, and far more competitive than in recent years. But Geno Smith is steady, not spectacular. Without Adams, the ceiling is capped. They're fighting for a wild card, not the division crown. The Chargers' advantage. Against this backdrop, the Chargers finally stand tall. Coaching. Harbaugh's discipline and toughness give them an edge over Denver's youth and Las Vegas's rebuilding process. Weapons. Herbert has Ladd McConkey emerging as a star, a stronger duo than what Denver or Vegas can offer. Defense. Khalil Mack is still elite, Tuipolatu is ascending, and Derwin James anchors the secondary. The Chiefs are still dangerous, but they're no longer flawless. The Broncos are rising, but still young. The Raiders are stabilizing, but still limited. That leaves the Chargers as the one team positioned to actually take the AFC West. For the Chargers to finally win the AFC West, it isn't about hype, it's about execution. The matchups within the division are where this will be won or lost. Chargers versus Chiefs, the rivalry that defines everything. Since Herbert entered the league, nearly every Chargers-Chiefs game has been a war. Herbert is 2-6 versus Mahomes, but 6 of those 8 games were decided by 7 points or fewer. He has thrown 17 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions against Kansas City, averaging over 280 yards per game. The problem hasn't been Herbert, it's been the Chargers' inability to close. With Harbaugh, that changes. A balanced run game keeps Mahomes off the field. A pass rush led by Khalil Mack and Tuli Tuipulotu forces him to throw faster. And with McConkey emerging as a mismatch weapon in the slot, Herbert has answers even against Spagnuolo's blitz-heavy defense. The Chargers don't need to sweep Kansas City. They just need to split. If they do, the crown is in play. Chargers versus Broncos, youth versus experience. Bo Nix is coming off a historic rookie season, but he's still a second-year quarterback. When he sees Derwin James disguising coverages or Mack screaming off the edge, mistakes will happen. Herbert's advantage is obvious. He's in his prime, he's battle-tested, and he's been here before. Against Denver, Herbert is 7-3 lifetime, averaging 275 yards and 2 touchdowns per game. The Broncos' defense is nasty. Patrick Surtain is capable of erasing a wide receiver one. But McConkey's ability to win in the slot neutralizes that. If Herbert avoids Surtain and picks on the middle of the field, the Chargers control this matchup. Chargers versus Raiders. Carroll's toughness versus Harbaugh's discipline. This is where the culture wars play out. Pete Carroll preaches energy, optimism, and toughness. Jim Harbaugh preaches discipline, grit, and control. The Raiders will fight. Geno Smith is steady, Brock Bowers is a nightmare mismatch, and Max Crosby is capable of wrecking any game. But Herbert has historically owned the Raiders. He's 6-2 against them, with multiple 300-yard games and a career passer rating over 100 against Las Vegas. The key is neutralizing Crosby. If Harbaugh's run-heavy scheme forces him to play contain instead of pinning his ears back, the Chargers will take advantage. Vegas just doesn't have the firepower to keep up. Justin Herbert, the shadow rival. Herbert has always been measured against Mahomes. The truth is he's not Mahomes, nobody is. But in almost every statistical category, he's in the same galaxy. Career average passer rating, 96.2. Completion percentage, 66%. Already has multiple 4,000-plus yard seasons in just 5 years. If the Chargers win the division, it will be because Herbert is finally recognized as more than the guy behind Mahomes. McConkey isn't just a rookie sensation. He's a nightmare for defenses, scheming to stop Herbert's deep shots. His 6.3 yak average ranked top 15 in the entire league last year. He's slippery, precise, and fearless over the middle. With Joey Bosa gone, many wondered if the Chargers' pass rush would collapse. Instead, it has become clearer. This is Mack's defense now. Mack, 17 sacks in 2024, relentless motor, veteran leadership. Tuipulotu, 6 sacks as a rookie, powerful hands, ascending trajectory. Together, they give the Chargers a 1-2 punch off the edge that can collapse even Kansas City's line. Why 2025 is the year of the Bolt. The Chiefs are still elite, but not flawless. The Broncos are rising, but still developing. The Raiders are scrappy, but limited. And the Chargers? For the first time in 15 years, they have everything aligned. A head coach who knows how to win. A quarterback in his prime, hungry to prove himself. Emerging weapons in McConkey and Tuipulotu. A defense that can close games, not collapse in them. For decades, the Chargers have been the NFL's great tragedy. Brilliant players, heartbreaking losses, and a curse that felt eternal. But in 2025, something feels different. Harbaugh's culture has erased softness. Herbert has the weapons. Mack still leads the charge. And the AFC West, for once, looks vulnerable. The last time the Chargers won the division was 2009. 15 years of pain. 15 years of chargering. This season, the drought could finally end. Because lightning doesn't just strike once. In 2025, it might strike all the way to the AFC West crown. The Chiefs have been kings for too long. The Broncos are on the rise. The Raiders are rebuilding. But the team with the best chance to take the throne? The Los Angeles Chargers. Because this isn't the same old Bolts. This is Justin Herbert's time. This is Jim Harbaugh's mission. And this is the year of the Bolt. Peace out.